May we be nourished and protected. May we gain strength, knowledge. May we come to divine and loving realizations. And may we never quarrel. Peace, peace, peace. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Kulavavahai Tejasvinavadidamastu Mavidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. And welcome to another one of our classes along this 8-limb path. We have made it to the second limb. We have climbed up to the fourth component of the second limb. We addressed the others pretty substantially, left a lot of room for you to do your own research, but the basic understanding, the more, probably the most important, I would think, things to grasp have been grasped up to now, if you've been following along. Remember that they're all up on the channel in a playlist, so you can just click on the first one and go right through the whole lesson up till now. And I really can't thank you guys. The support for the series, the support for the channel has really been amazing so far, and I can't thank you guys enough. Remember, if you do find yourself enjoying this, please drop a like. It would really help me out. And also subscribe if you want to see more, but helping through those things is one thing. Commenting, sharing, getting the interaction on the post, on the video is really, really helpful with all the whole algorithm stuff that none of us understand. But interactions is a huge thing. So definitely want that as much as possible if you guys feel so inclined. All right, let's get right into the lesson. So we've covered Saucha, we've covered Santosha, and we've covered Tapas. So we've made it to the fourth of the niyamas. We're on the second limb, and we are at the fourth of fifth components of the second limb, these disciplines. The fourth is one that I say is probably among the most important for a yogi at any level, because it is always going to be relative to that individual's level. Okay, the fourth is Svadyaya. 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 And Svadyaya loosely translates to study of the self, or self-study. Okay? Seemingly self-explanatory, right? Just study about the self. But there's a few different ways we can go about this here, because it is so relative to every individual. First, I just want to say, study. Anyone that's been following along on my Instagram or on this channel up to now, they understand how I approach the importance of knowledge on this path. If we don't have the knowledge, then the practice on the mat is very empty, is just another form of exercise or stretching. And even the moments of peace and calm, they're great, but the benefit that we can attain from them, from those moments, is so much greater if we have our understanding. So study. Study whatever you'd like to along this path. If this means teachings from the more modern teachers, find the ones that mention Ashtanga. Find the teachers that mention meditation. That's going to be a great way to start off. If you are looking for something a little bit more esoteric, a little more in depth, look to the teachers. Look to those sages that have come within the last few thousand years. There's been many enlightened or awakened souls that have shared their experiences, shared their practices, shared their teachings in books and in many, many ways, or through their students, continuing on the lineage of their teachings. So those are available to find. And if you're looking for the most esoteric and the most in-depth and the hardest to understand, then follow me right down to the ancient texts, the Gita, the Upanishads, the scriptures, anything that we can find our hands on that will teach us of the soul, the self, the divinity, and its incorporation and interaction with nature. So, study. Svadyaya, study. Study for yourself. Okay, that's another component of this. Study for yourself. Don't wait for a study group. Don't wait for a class. Don't wait for your friend to catch up along the path and join you in whatever you're studying. Study. Everything that is meant to be learned will be learned. Everything that is meant to be shared will be shared. And the people that are meant to join you along that path of study, of realization, of practice, they'll be there, right beside you, along the same path. So study. And don't be afraid of the knowledge that you might gain. It's going to seem a little daunting at first. Things like overcoming the ego. Something like that, for example. I hear a lot of the times people say, well, why would I want to overcome this ego? Or why would I want to eventually put an end to this ego if I spent so long building it and creating memories and becoming who I am? Knowledge will take away that fear. Knowledge will destroy, dismantle that uncertainty and those doubts. So study. Study and find out in what ways the knowledge will clear the doubts, clear the fears, and keep you steadfast on this path. So killing off the ego, controlling, doing away with the ego, these things are moments where people will stop their study, they'll stop their self-seeking, okay? So fly through that with a little bit more knowledge, just keep on studying. Another thing is, what am I studying? Am I studying every single asana that's ever been known to man? Every single hamstring stretch? Every single variation of a handstand? Maybe. If that interests you, by all means, go for it and dig. Dig. Study to your heart's content, because you'll come to find that that's not yoga. Okay? That's one way that I found it wasn't. Finding out what the postures were supposed to be utilized for in the earliest contexts, in the first ashrams, in the first shalas, where they were teaching this practice to people that weren't considering themselves yogis. What were they teaching? Why were they having them move their bodies? It's important to know, and I'm sure I'll cover it in a video on this channel at some point, but it's very, very important to know, if you're going to be practicing yoga, why were they doing that to begin with? Why are we doing it now? Why were we doing it then? What is the importance? What can be gained from it? Study these things. I'm glad that you're here with me in this channel, because along the path I'm going to be sharing all of this and kind of nudging you to continue your study and keep find out more than I did, learn more than me, teach me some stuff, leave a comment, sharing some stuff, because it's never oh, I know that, I know, no, I don't know. So please share as much knowledge with me as you can. Share as much wisdom with me as you can, because I am all ears, always open for it. If it knocks, if it disagrees, if it isn't felt properly, if it isn't accepted properly, then that truth just wasn't for me. The same thing goes for you. The same thing. It's why I teach in more universal terms when I teach the sacred science of yoga, because I don't want anyone to feel like it isn't for them. I want everyone to feel accepted. I want everyone to feel included in this practice, because then they can practice it and gain the benefits they were meant to. So study. Svadyaya. It doesn't stop. 200-hour yoga teachers, if you're here with me, it doesn't stop when you got that certificate. That's the entrance exam. That's the putting your feet on the first step of the path. Did you have to get the certificate to start that path? No. But if you decided to claim the title of a yoga teacher, well, you should probably learn enough to teach it in all its aspects. If you consider yourself an asana teacher, it probably wouldn't be called yoga, right? Once you study, once you know of these things. I'm not going to be the one to tell you. Study. Svadyaya. What is the self? What is the self? What am I studying towards? At least give me that much. Well, the niyama that is the fifth, is the final niyama, is Isvarapranidhana. Okay, and the first thing you hear is this word Ishvara. Ishvara is that one supreme divinity. Lord, God. Many people have called it many different things over the ages, and I want you to fill in the blank with whatever makes you feel most comfortable. If it's universe, if it's cosmos, if it's energy, if it's spirit, whatever it is, Ishvara. What do you long for? What do you long to move towards? What do you long to absorb into? Ishvara. Okay? There's a very, it's embedded in that word. There's a seeking, there's a pull. Ishvara. Ishvara. Okay? And Isvarapranidhana means to surrender to that. Surrender to that, whatever you call it. Lord, God, universe, energy, cosmos, nature, all right? Whatever you want to call it. Surrender. Surrender your stress. Surrender your worry. Surrender your fear. Surrender your ego. Surrender your attempts at control that could lead to anxiety. Surrender your likes and dislikes. Surrender your idea that there's been loss. And surrender your hope for longings. Okay? Of course, these are the material types. These are the manifest types. These are the ego-bound longings and loss. All right? So be willing to surrender them. If you were carrying around hundreds of pounds, you started your morning, you wake up and you pick up 100 pounds in each hand, how many steps could you take? Maybe you're really strong. Maybe you're a brute. And you could walk half a mile. It's still not going to allow you to complete your day. It's not going to allow you to do the things you would otherwise do. You can't reach for your cup of coffee. You can't reach for that bite of breakfast. You won't be able to drive your car to work. You're going to be carrying 100 pounds in each hand. Why? Is it taped to you? Is it strapped to your hands? Is it bound to you somehow? Or are you deciding to hold it? Are you deciding to squeeze the weight and bear that? Why not just let it go? Why not just put it down? Why not relieve yourself of that added stress and struggle when you have the opportunity? And even if it's something that in life you can't necessarily just put down, walk away from, surrender the idea that you control the outcome, because no amount of anxiety has ever changed the outcome. I think Alan Watts said that. No amount of anxiety has ever changed the outcome of anything. It's such a powerful teaching. So drop your control. Drop your hope for a desired outcome. Surrender it. In the text it says that what you are meant to have will be given to you. What you are meant to keep will be protected for you. All right? And in so many different ways. I'm not going to sit here and go through all the different quotes of faith and security in these texts. We'll be here for hours. Faith, conviction. It's what is required. This is the second limb. This is the second limb. The third limb is on the mat. The third limb is the asana. To get to that third limb, we have to have these first two incorporated into our lives, incorporated, embedded, ingrained into our minds, dictating our mind's eye and the practices that we have within us, in our shukshma sharira, our subtle body. That's the practice. It's not the manifest yet. We haven't started moving, breathing. Nope. It takes place within. The first two limbs won't be seen. They might be seen in action. You telling the truth. You giving up attachments. You being clean. Saucha. It'll be seen in action. but the most subtle of reactions is there. Which brings me to these two connected, okay? Svadyaya and Isvarapranidhana, connected. All right? When we have our karma, our actions that we take, sometimes there are direct and relatable reactions that we can see right then, right there. I want to make coffee. I put water in the pot. I turn on the heat and the water boils. I can see that my action had a direct reaction, boiling water, right? But the less subtle actions have equally subtle reactions. That which we won't see in the manifest, that which we won't make into tangible understanding. Okay? That subtle contemplation leads to subtle understanding. That subtle action leads to subtle reaction. And of those things, we can't really say. We can't really say when the reaction takes place, or here's a really tough one. We won't even know if the action we took was the reaction of a previous action. I'll take it a step further. Hope you're sitting down for this one. We won't even know if we were just the carriers of the reaction for another person, and that karmic equation was never involving us at all. We won't even know. So when people say there's karma for you, maybe they do. Maybe they know all the subtleties to that, but I wouldn't be claiming that. And not many people throughout history, even the enlightened and the awakened, they don't even claim to understand that because of its divine nature. So study. Study and find out what that divine nature means is Ishvara. Study and find out what the self is. It's Ishvara. And we'll get there. But if that Ishvara and us seeking of that is going to be a subtle action, and the study of it is going to be a subtle action, then hold on to your hat, because next is the third limb. And we're going to start feeling for, analyzing, and waiting for that divine reaction. All right? And what all these subtle actions lead to us as far as realization and contemplations that allow us to move further down the path and allow more doors to open along the path. Okay? So, that's it. That's as far as I'm going to take it here. Each one of these, and I've said it every single time, and I'll say it again, each one of these nuanced components, these first two limbs, they have so much more to be understood about them, to be gained from them. This is me creating the scratch, itch it, go look, search it, seek it in the texts, find out the references, and build it into your practice. That's what these are here for. It's just a reminder to build it into your practice. How can I carry Ashtanga onto the mat? How can I carry Ashtanga into my everyday life? All right? So next we're going to talk asana. The postures, the thing that made yoga popular the world over. And we're going to talk about the nuanced components that should be carried into the modern era, and the things that should be removed if there are components of the practice that shouldn't be there, that don't belong there. Okay? I'm not enlightened. I'm not awakened. I feel like I should leave this as like a little disclaimer at the end. I am a student and practitioner myself, and I'm just so grateful that I can teach what I've come to grasp, what I've come to understand. If you did find this enjoyable at all, and if you made it this far, you might have, go ahead and drop a like. Leave a comment in the comment section below if you have any questions about any of these things, or if you have any topics that you'd like covered in later series or in other videos. I appreciate all the interaction, all the support on the channel so far, and I can't thank you guys enough. I hope you have a beautiful day wherever you are, and don't ever forget it, you are loved. Let's close with mantra. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vadidamastu Mavid Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om.